Hey everyone, it's David Bombal back with a very special guest. Jon is the author of this book, The Art of Cyberwarfare. Jon, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I want to talk about how did you get to this point? And I believe it's got something to do with basketball, or you can go further back if you like.
Started out my career as an engineer, real passion for technology. I enjoyed what I did. When I got out of the military, I went back to school, became a Cisco network engineer, and did that for a number of years.
You did CCNA, is that right? You bought a bunch of equipment, did CCNA?
I did. Tech bubble had burst, and on eBay, you could get, $5,000 routers for like $500. I was scooping things up, buying books and self-taught and going and take certification tests. I was working blue collar jobs. I was a military police officer when I was in the military, but when I got out, I had a lot of tattoos. And at the time, local police departments weren't hiring back then. That was in 99, 2000, 2001. So that was what I did, working blue collar. I was like, I want to do something different. So I just started buying equipment and teaching myself. And I got, I think I got a CCNA, I got a Microsoft certification in CSA, and then I started working on the Cisco CCNP. So anyway, before I even had a job, I had all these crazy certifications, which was really, really cool because I was super motivated. And then I got into the field and I started working at a place called General Dynamics on a help desk. They gave me a clearance, and that clearance opened a lot of doors for me. As a side hobby for fun, I started doing open source research, and I started looking at different threats I would see in the news and playing with different tools and just writing a blog about it. Well, long story short, I ended up getting recruited to work for the government. At the time, a lot of the groups from non-US companies were starting to form programs that they eventually used for espionage. And they needed intelligence analysts with cyber background, and they felt like it was easier to take the cyber aspect, someone who was technical, and teach them the intelligence side. So they sent me off to school for that, became a signals intelligence analyst, and I did that for a long time for one of the government agencies that's in the intelligence community. Around 2014, I got out and I went into the private sector. So it was 2013, 2014. It was around that time when I really had decided towards the end of that time frame that I wanted to get back to writing, and I wanted to write a book or maybe write something with someone. I wasn't quite sure. And I remember I gotten out of the government side, and I'd taken a job with a commercial firm. It was a company that I'd always wanted to work for. It was my dream job. And, I got there and I'm trying to get acquainted, and, everything's different. In the government, you have all these secret squirrel tools that help you do your job, and they make it pretty easy in comparison to not having them and then to rely on your technical resources. Because I had all this background with open source, I had gotten really good in doing research as well as doing dynamic malware analysis and, even some static malware analysis. And anyway, I was pretty good for somebody who had been on the government side for being able to still do research. So I felt comfortable. But when I went into this place, they had their own proprietary system. They had built all their own tools, all their own sort of management tools for data, and it was all command line driven, and you had to manually input everything. And it was new to me. I wasn't like a Python guy, didn't do scripting or anything like that at that point in my career. So I was a bit slow. Now I was able to do it, but not at the speed that they had wanted me to. But they were like, maybe this isn't the right role for you. But you've obviously understand the threat landscape. You can communicate it. Maybe we can put you on our team that's going to write products for our customers. So I said, okay, that still sounded interesting to me. I love to write. Let's do it. And they brought me in to do a writing assessment, and they sat me down. And I remember I was nervous. I had been, reading about writing in an active voice and all this other stuff the night before, sort of to prep for it. And I get in there and they tell me to write about basketball. Well, I know nothing about basketball.
You know nothing, Jon
DiMaggio. I mean, I know a ball goes in a basket, but I'd never played it. I didn't watch it. Fast forward all these years later, my kids are obsessed with it, and I do now. But back then, nothing. So, I tried to write it, but I got so hung up on what to do and how the game was played and the rules, and trying to make it interesting, because I always like to make things interesting. And I ended up not giving them a good product. There was another analyst that worked there, and I'm not going to say his name only because I don't want the company to be divulged, because I specifically don't put them on my resume and things, and I don't want it to come across as bad. But this analyst, he did believe in me, and he was like, I want you to write my next deliverable. So it was on a Monday, and that was a Friday. So I had to work on it on the weekend, but I just wanted my chance. He gave me it, and I wrote this thing up. He turned it in, and of course our boss really liked it. And he told him, hey, Jon wrote this. Well, they didn't believe it. They compared it
Wow.
to the other product, and they said, you obviously helped him with this. This is night and day difference. That Friday, they showed up at my desk with HR. They took my computer. They did give me a severance. They didn't just throw me out on the street, but they walked me out and were like, you're not working here anymore. It's just not the right fit for you. You need to improve on your writing skills, and you need to work on improving your skills as an analyst. And I was crushed because prior to this, I was a rock star in my career. I'm not patting myself on the back. I worked hard to do that. And I had such a passion for what I do. So it just crushed me. And I literally was that night, I got kids, I'm sitting there, I'm in my apartment. I was crying. It was the low point of my career. Like, it was the low of lows. I was like, what am I going to do? I got to get a job. Do I need to change? Maybe I need to go back to doing blue collar work. I don't know. I did a lot of thinking that over that time between, then and getting another job. It was over a couple of weeks. And what I had decided was, I know I'm a good writer, and I know I'm a great analyst. And I get goosebumps just thinking about this. It lit a fire in me. I was like, I'm going to write a book, and I'm going to get not only job as an analyst, I'm going to get a job as an analyst where the whole world sees my work.